we're doing the first reading on and a second. Well, both, to answer your question. I haven't heard any complaints about either one at this point.
We're okay. What happened?
I didn't get any on the second reading, the one we had to take action on. They were minor, about cemeteries and parking lots and,
Well, the builder one, the one, we met with the builders.
yeah. You and Greg were there. I wasn't there, but that was their compromise. And they haven't complained to me since y'all met.
I was thinking this was gonna be the first reading.
It is. No action on it. You're right. But there's other items that we did read last time that are minor, that are not like the stormwater. They're not related to stormwater.
That's it.
I'd like to call this meeting to order for the Whitfield County Board of Commissioners for the 10th day of June, 2024. Please mute or silence your cell phones. And all that are able, please stand for Commissioner Robbins to give our invocation, followed by the pledge.
Let us pray. Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for the beautiful weather you've provided. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the opportunity that we have to live in Whitfield County. Dear Heavenly Father, we also pray that we'll have a deliberation tonight that'll be open. Dear Heavenly Father, we just pray for your guidance and forgive us where we fail you. We also want to pause now that we've gone through Memorial Day to recognize and pray for all those soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen that have sacrificed, and dear Heavenly Father, also those ones that are serving at home and abroad, and a special hand of protection upon each and every one of them. Now go with us and guide us. Forgive us where we fail you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, may the record reflect we have 3 commissioners present. That does make our minimum quorum requirements. We have a requirement in our bylaws for any expenditures or purchases that we have 3 votes, so I will have to vote where I normally don't have to in past meetings, so I'll get a little bit extra fun there. The agenda was sent out to the public and the commissioners approximately 6 days ago. We did make a couple of minor little updates on Friday, nothing major, a few little approved text and things like that, but any questions or concerns about the agenda?
No concerns. I make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented with the elimination of item number 15, resolution for the Board of Tax Assessor appointment, and no other additions.
Commissioner Robbins would like to amend the agenda, the latest one that you received, minus number 15, for further discussion when all of the commissioners are present. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Thomas. All in favor of amending the agenda, please raise your hand or say aye.
There may be a question, I'm sorry.
It looked like there was a potential added on there.
Potential add. That was sent out in the last copy, I believe. Yeah, the one we sent out on Friday did have that in there. So, yeah, that was in the written copy. Yeah, we will have that one. I've got that in the PowerPoint also. So the agenda is passed with a 3-0 with that one amendment to delay that till next meeting. There was the standard consent agenda items where we ratify all the budget amendments from the previous meeting in May. And speaking of the May minutes, those were sent out last week also. Was there any corrections or concerns with the May minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the May meeting?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas, second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. We'll start with our Employee of the Month, which is Cameron Cox. I believe is in the Sheriff's Office. He'll come down with the... Okay, sure. Yeah, congratulations. Tell us a little bit about Cameron.
This is Sergeant Cameron Cox with the Sheriff's Office. He's been with us for about 18 years, 2008, I think he started. Like most of our employees, they start in the jail, they work up through the patrol. He has worked his way into the drug unit, and then he is now a supervisor in our investigations. A few weeks ago, or I should say recently, we had a case come to us about an elderly woman that was missing. She had dementia. Sergeant Cox got a hold of the case and everything, and through a new system that we have at the sheriff's office, he was able to trace it down and work with a surrounding county. We were able to locate the lady, contact her family. She was returned safely, and it came out to a very positive results. So we were very pleased with it. That's the kind of ending that we like to have, and if it hadn't been for his commitment and dedication to it, and utilizing this new system that we have, it probably would not have turned out well. So for that reason, his wife Mackenzie's here with his 2 daughters, and his supervisor, Lieutenant Jose Rivera, is with us. So we congratulate him, and good job.
Thank you. Our next item is a public hearing. This is related to a road closure on Beulah Drive. This is just a portion of Beulah Drive up off of Cleveland Highway. And this portion of the road is not paved, I understand. It's not part of the part that's maintained. I believe Tracy Ward wanted to speak first on this. Yep, feel free to come forward.
Speak if anyone else wants to go ahead of me, because my client's directly affected.
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah, it's an open public hearing. You don't have to have called us in advance. I just was aware he wanted to speak. But anyone who wants to speak in favor or against the closing of that portion of Beulah Drive, again, not the paved portion, but the second half. I guess you're it. This was on our agenda last time, just that we would have a hearing. We didn't take any action, but we will take action on this later in the meeting. But this is just the public hearing portion.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I'm Tracy Ward. I live at 609 Murray Hill Drive. I'm the attorney for Brigado Meza and his wife Nancy Meza. Mr. Chairman, do you have the photograph that was attached to the minutes showing the portion, or I have copies that might be helpful for the
I
Commission?
don't think I have it on my PowerPoint now.
Okay. Do you care if I
No,
distribute
feel
these?
free.
It's the same document because I think it's helpful. If you don't mind, I have one more GIS aerial, which I think, gives a little wider view and shows Mr. Flores' property. And then I'll start, and I will not take long. Of course, you are familiar with the portion of Beulah Drive that you want to close. Immediately at the end of Beulah Drive, on the handout or the aerial that I gave, which shows Beulah Drive, and I've written in Flores, that's where Mr. and Ms. Flores live. They have it's about 20 acres. It's an unusual piece of property. Todd Gavin had purchased it a long time ago. I think there was some concern or talk on his part of developing it, but he didn't. Mr. Flores and his wife built a nice house. They have a lot of land. That's where they live. So Beulah Drive is a portion of the old McCulley subdivision, and the original plat for Beulah Drive and the other lots was prepared in 1955 and 1956. So if you're familiar with Beulah Drive is directly off of Cleveland Highway, just north of the golf course for the country club. It goes a long way, and at the end of Beulah Drive, as you can see, it does go straight, and then it also turns into Gale Drive. There are 3 drives off Beulah Drive as you enter that all dead end. So this is a subdivision that only has access through Beulah Drive off of Cleveland Highway. Mr. Flores uses the blue crosshatch portion of Beulah Drive. It is partly paved. The rest of it is not paved by the county. The county does not bear any expense in maintaining it. In fact, Mr. Flores, I keep wanting to call him Mr. Meza. Mr. Flores has actually graded that and put gravel on it. Now, Mr. Flores, in addition, I have given you the aerial photograph of his property. If you look at what's called Livingston Way, that is an easement that enters into the north of Mr. Flores' property. It's off of Brooker Drive. It's a 30-foot easement, and that is also access to his property. Mr. Flores has a problem with being able to use Livingston Way. The owner of the parcel just north of there, 12-127-14-000, the lady's name and her husband's name escapes me. Her name is Cynthia Dillard. Ms. Dillard's been before this board before. She has an issue with Mr. Flores living there and having visitors to his property. From May of 2022 through May of this year, she's made 21 telephone calls to 911, complaining about the noise, complaining about people driving up and down Livingston Way to enter into his property. Back in May, he had to contact the sheriff's department. She was actually stopping vehicles and asking them what they were doing there. So to cut down on the issues that are being caused by Ms. Dillard, Mr. Flores and his family need to be able to access Beulah Drive. It's a little longer way for them to enter and exit their property, but since he has no intention of moving, and I don't think she does, this would cut down on a lot of issues. The other issue concerning Beulah Drive is Avis Drive, which is south of Beulah Drive. The school bus, the Whitfield County School Bus, comes along Avis Drive, goes north, stops there at its intersection with Beulah. That's where the children in that east part of the neighborhood get off the bus. Mr. and Ms. Flores have two children, ages 9 and 13. When they catch the bus in the morning, when they leave the bus in the afternoon, the bus stops there, they walk to their house. And they use this portion of Beulah Drive, which the board is considering closing. That might effectively cut off their access to their home. And the parents are concerned that the children not come to their house through Livingston Way because of the neighbor. They want to avoid that. If this road is abandoned and or closed, it might be that their children have to come off of Brooker Drive, where Livingston Way goes to catch the bus. That's a major road. But Mr. and Mrs. Flores are respectfully requesting that the road not be abandoned. You have to find that it serves a public purpose to abandon the road. I don't think that that standard can be met because there is a public purpose served by the road, access. Now, I have spoken, and he's here, Miguel Nunez. He is the property owner that fronts on Beulah Drive. His home is to the south of Beulah Drive. He has a driveway on the west side, so if you closed Beulah Drive, he would still have access to his property. But I spoke to him for the first time this afternoon, and he will be willing to speak to you if you want to hear from him. But he advised me that he's been there 3 years. He does not have a problem with Mr. Meza. He has not noticed an inordinate amount of traffic coming into Mr. Meza's house. He says he does not have a lot of loud noise coming, so it's not a concern for him. I know I talked to Mr. Thomas last week, and Mr. Thomas had indicated that a lot of folks in the neighborhood, I think, have been complaining about the amount of traffic, and that may be what precipitated this ordinance being proposed. But he would be most directly affected if there was a lot of traffic. There is a lot of traffic coming on Beulah Drive because people live there, and it's a dead end. You don't have any other way to get into the subdivision. So I would respectfully ask that the board not close this portion of Beulah Drive. If you feel inclined to do so, I would ask that you perhaps table this and take additional studies. I know Mr. Nunez told me that there were cables put up on Beulah Drive for traffic counts. I don't know if that was for the purpose in closing the road or there was another purpose, but he informed me of that this afternoon. But I just don't see any public purpose being served when there is a property owner using it and folks that enter into his property. And the right to travel, the right to use the public roads. It's something certainly we don't want to impede for our citizens. So I would request that you don't adopt the ordinance
Any other
resolution.
questions for Mr. Ward?
Okay.
Do you, on the 21, it looks like you pulled maybe those 911 records. Does it show how many citations were issued?
Oh,
or
I meant to tell you,
Just warnings, or what was done?
0.
Oh, they just went out there?
They went out there, investigated it. They're not real pleased with Miss Dillard, from my understanding, because she calls so frequently. If there'd been a problem, it appears to me that she,
Decided it, or
been a
given a warning or
citation,
something. Okay.
you know, but no, nothing. So it's a sad situation, but that's where we find ourselves.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else like to speak on the closing of Beulah Drive? Yeah, come forward. Just tell us your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Brittany Dubay. I live on 114 Gale Drive, so right off of Beulah. My children actually ride the bus with their children, and they're very kind people, and there's not an excessive amount of traffic that goes through. We have to go through so there's Beulah and to turn onto Gale Drive, and we've never had any issues with them. No one in our neighborhood or on our street has. You know, and there one time they were like, hey, we're gonna have a big birthday party, so if we're loud, you know, we're sorry. So they were courteous enough to even let us know that it might be loud, because they said they were having a band come out. So I just wanted to come up and speak, because as far as closing their driveway, that's kind of rude. You know? All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Anyone else like to speak? All right, I will close the public hearing. We'll move on with the rest of the agenda. The next section is just our individual reports from each commissioner. All I have is just congratulations to all the newly elected or re-elected officials. And I appreciate everybody getting their signs up as quick as possible 2 or 3 weeks ago. Made that request, and the county looks a lot better. I don't know who has private gyms, but they may be next. They've got a lot of signs out there, but I don't think they're running for office. But everybody else got their signs up, and I really appreciate that. So congratulations to everybody. We are a couple of newly elected ones. They'll be here next time for sure. Anything for you, Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
I can report that I attended a library board meeting on May the 16th, and our library is progressing well. They reported a number of partnerships that are ongoing to include Dalton State and Cross Plains. There's a reading program continuing through the summer. They have also continue with the construction of the addition to the, no, that's not the library. That is the library.
Yeah,
Yeah,
The architect work is done, and the construction
sorry.
is about to start.
Got confused with the senior center. They're next to each other, and that's progressing
That
well
may be
also.
next.
That may be next. Yes,
Yeah, we'll see.
We don't want, no sneak preview right now.
That's right. And they are partnering this summer with several schools to continue their reading program. So I think that's encouraging.
Yep.
And their attendance and book checkouts are continuing to be successful.
Great. All right, and our county administrator?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one item, and I'm going to do a little bragging, but they say that it's not bragging if you can back it up, and we can back it up. On Thursday, May 30th, Whitfield County and our Public Relations Director, Val Molina, hosted a meeting right in this room and a lunch for the Georgia Local Government Communicators. I don't know if that's the official title, but basically this was also co-sponsored by ACCG, which is the Georgia Counties Association, and GMA, which is the Georgia Cities Administration. And we did that in conjunction with them, and those folks came here for training. Government communications is very important with a lot of disinformation and misinformation out there. So as I said to the group, that they're the shock troops for responding to those sorts of things. And the reason why I bring this up isn't just that we hosted this event. It's also that the folks who are here were very pleased with Dalton Whitfield County. In fact, I know we had at least one and several more who were staying here at the downtown Carpentry Hotel, so they were stimulating our economy, and they were very interested in coming back. And I bring this all up because I want to emphasize that in recent years, Whitfield County has really become a leader in the state of Georgia, not just for good government, but also we set the tone, we set the pace for things. And this isn't just evidenced by me yammering on at these meetings. If you notice over here on this wall, there's a plaque that the county was awarded in April by ACCG, the Counties Association, and Georgia Trend. Whitfield County was designated a County of Excellence, in particular for our Conesaga Community Addiction Recovery Center, which incidentally the government communicators also toured. That's on the cutting edge for providing services to individuals. And again, I'm not bragging because we can back it up. We're doing a heck of a good job here, and we're setting the tone for the state of Georgia. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, review our finances.
Okay, let's talk about April. In April, we collected 5.05 million in sales tax. We collected 1.98 million in vehicle tax, and year-to-date, our total revenue is 13.2 million. And our year-to-date expenses, we've spent 19.3 million. As I said, our year-to-date revenue through April is 13.2 million. The projected year-to-date revenue was 13.1, and our actual 2023 revenue for the same time period was 13.4 million. So we're pretty stable there. Our total expenditures through April 30th are 18.9 million, with our projected being 19.5 million. And for the same period last year, we were at 16.7 million. So year-to-date compared to budget, our revenue is $113,000 greater than budgeted, and our expenditures are $181,000 less than budget. So this creates a surplus as of April 30th of $294,000. So our fund balance as of April 30th is 29 million, with our projected fund balance at the end of the year, if all things track the same, would be 34.4 million. And our actual receipts for the 2020 SPLOST through April 30th are 81.9 million. Our expenditures have been 52.1 million. And our debt service of the 27 million has been collected and allocated completely to pay in October.
Any questions from Ms. Godfrey?
Make a motion, we accept the finance.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins to accept the financial report. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. Okay, we have a public comment section, so anything, we have a pretty ambitious agenda, about 30-something items. So if you have a question or a comment on any of those items, other than the public comment that we already had, a public hearing, but these can be on any of the agenda items. Are there any public comments on the agenda items? All right, we will have another public comment at the end for any miscellaneous items that you may have on your mind. This is our second reading of the some subdivision regulations. There was quite a few of these, but they're pretty minor, dealing with, this is not the stormwater. We had a big discussion on that. We'll talk about that in just a second. These are not related to that. These were the first read in May, related to parking lots and cemeteries, fee structures. The fees aren't changing, but just where we post the fees and how we post those, that type of thing. That's all related to these minor adjustments. And also allowing easements on GA and SA, so the family farm areas, you can now have a family exemption on those up to, I think it's 5 acres, is that right? So it's bigger than it used to be. So expanding the family easements for those kind of farm type of parcels. Did anybody have any feedback or comments? I did not. Again, I know we had a lot of discussion, but they weren't on these items last time. They were on stormwater, which is not related to any of these we're talking about here. Any concerns or questions?
Both items.
Let's see, is there a 15A? Yeah, here's that list that I was just going from memory, but you can see there's the cemeteries I mentioned, the parking lots, the fees for the stormwater, not changing anything about stormwater, just where the fees are posted. Again, the fees themselves aren't changing either. And then what distinguishes a church and where you can put a church or a bank. So those are allowed in those manufacturing districts. Now, if somebody abandons a plant, for example, we can put a bank or a church in there without a rezone. Any concerns or questions about these? Or I did not receive any emails related to these 5 or 6 items here.
I make a motion that be accepted.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins to accept items A through F for the second reading of the zoning ordinance. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote.
There's, right above that, though, is the subdivision.
The subdivision, okay, let's see, so that was, oops. That was number 12 that had the 6 items, and then, okay, so that has to do with the family. So that's separate, that's a separate item. Okay, so we've got 2. The second one is related to what I mentioned on the GA and the SA zoning district. So there's 2 different changes that we read last time. And these have also both been through the Planning and Zoning Board, and they approved them as well.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas to accept the GA and SA zoning district changes for family exemptions. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. Okay, so this is the first reading, and this does impact the stormwater as it relates to minor subdivisions. We have the exact copy of the stormwater regulations from the state for our standard subdivision, if you want to call that a major subdivision. But now we're redefining what a minor subdivision is, so they can be exempt in most cases from those stormwater planning and expenses. But we're not taking any action on them. They are on the website currently. They were in the agenda packet if you get an email copy of that, or if you need a copy, we're happy to provide it. But we won't take any action on these. That'll be next month. And this is this a second part of that erosion control? Let's see.
Yes.
Okay, so there's 2 parts. One that
Two parts.
one that defines the what is a minor and a major subdivision, and then the second one is the actual exemption of the minor subdivisions from stormwater. So they're related, but they are technically 2 different items. If we needed to tweak them or adjust them, we could.
Right, one's in subregs, and one's in the stormwater ordinance.
Okay, so 2 different places we have to update for that. So again, no action on either one of those, but they work together to make those changes that I mentioned. I believe it's up to 5, you can have up to 5 homes and not be considered a subdivision. That would just be considered minor.
Under an acre.
Yeah, yep. Each one of those has to be under an acre. Yep. Okay, again, no action on those. This is item 15 that we will take up once we have a fuller representation of all of our commissioners here on the reappointment there. We do have a reappointment on the Dalton Whitfield Planning Commission. What do you guys think about this one? You want to do this one or
Yes.
wait on this one? Well, this one's okay. Is there a motion to approve these 2 for the Dalton Whitfield Planning Commission?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. And then we have one person on the Board of Zoning Appeals. So if you don't like your, the assessment, then you can take, oh, no, this is for zoning. So if you don't agree with how we zone or how the Planning Commission votes on your property, if you want to rezone it, then you can take it to this board and either get a variance or get an appeal heard. And we need to appoint Tally Williams to that, if that's okay. Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. We have a piece of property we have negotiated. Commissioner Jones is not here, but I appreciate his long effort in bringing this to the close. We've been working on it as a team, but he did a lot of work on this. So this is on the West Side Park, I call it Miracle Field, but it's actually, you know, the back part of the West Side where the 2024 SPLOST recently was approved. We need land for driveways and parking lots and for the, ultimately, the basketball and recreational center that is in that 2024 SPLOST. So we'll need to have these 4.3 acres that we're purchasing from an adjacent property owner. It's $111,000 for 4.3 or so acres.
You got a typo here,
I do.
Mr. Chairman. No.
Oh.
not you, but
Oh. Purchase price $111,
$111,000, but then they,
$180. Oh, it maybe just left out the word and. 100
this part, $22,500
per
per
acre.
acre. So that,
Does that math add up?
no, that's 22,500. Just, it just needs to be changed at some point, that.
To match
needs
up.
to jive with that.
Okay.
Price is correct.
The total price is right. We just need to make sure we initial the verbiage under the purchase price. The numbers on the screen are correct, just not in the actual contract, from what Mr. Thomas just found. Is there a motion to approve the purchase price with the amendment to the contract in the details?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas, is second. Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Now we can build our rec center out there. All right, we've got 3. Let's make sure there's just 3. Actually, there's 4, but 3 on this page for the rezoning recommendations. These all passed 5-0 from the planning. I don't know if you want to take these individually or as a group, whatever you guys think.
You know, okay, I'll make a motion to accept.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas to accept the recommendations of all 3 items from the Planning and Zoning Board. Is there a second? Oh, you want to do it all 4 of them? Yeah, there is another one on this page, right? That's item 17. I think I'm a little bit out of order there. Is it okay to do? Purchase property, that's 18. Oh, 18D, so I can do all 4. Yeah, so we're going to do a motion by Commissioner Thomas to approve all 4 zoning requests that per the planning and zoning recommendations from the board.
There were no amendments or changes or
No conditions that I saw?
Conditions.
And they all passed 5-0, yep.
second?
Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. The City of Dalton, there was an annexation request on Frazier Drive. There was no land use objection. Is there a motion to approve the annexation by the City of Dalton?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. Tunnel Hill also has one annexation off of Old Lake Road. No land use objection found. Motion to approve the City of Tunnel Hill annexation.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. We're working with the Hamilton Healthcare System. They need, there's no financial obligation with Whitfield County, but to refinance and to borrow this money, it has to come through the governing body, which is us, but they are totally on the hook for any financing.
It's a tax-free financing, bond financing.
So it can't
and It's got to come either through the mayor, council, or the
Or the
government.
Whitfield County government, either one, wherever it resides. So I think we've done this before, but yeah, they're liable for it, and believe me, they have the money, so they're okay. Motion by Commissioner Robbins, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. From our IT department, we have a renewal. We already use Microsoft Office 365 and the other licensing agreements, but it expires every 3 years. And so we have a new agreement for approximately $95,665 per year, payable annually for the next 3 years. That's all our email and all of our IT software. Motion to approve the agreement, extend it.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. This is one I'm proud to work with our EMA group on. Late last year, we have to split it because they're on a different calendar than we are, so we only paid for 6 months. Now we have to pay for the second 6 months, but this was a dramatic savings on our Motorola network, antennas, radios, and the like, versus what we would have to pay on our own, since we're now part of the Tennessee Communication Network. So, but now we do have to pay the second half, which is $58,974. Is there a motion to approve that payment? Motion by Commissioner Robbins, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. We need one vehicle, that Ford Bronco. That's the new state standard that we can get through our local Ford of Dalton at the state price of $30,565 for our county engineer, and we would put this on our 2024 capital. I think their current vehicle is leaking oil everywhere. It can't be fixed. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner Robbins. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. We need to replace some drainage tiles on Antioch Road, something called a wing well that was damaged in the storms, and we did bid it out, multiple bids, but the best price was $68,500. As the repairs already began, Mr. Civic, I think, on this? Did we already start the repairs on this?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. So we're ratifying it because it was emergency. We didn't want the road to collapse further because it is still open, it's still functioning, but another storm could be a bad situation. So if we could ratify that contract for $68,500 against the 2020 SPLOST, because we have drainage and other things on there. Motion by Commissioner Robbins. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. This is our agreement for our district attorney staff, which is split between Whitfield and Murray County. It's paid by the state, and then we have to reimburse and share those costs for up to 4 employees through the district attorney's office. And that has to be renewed every year, as we always do. Is there a motion to approve me signing the spacer agreement?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. Drug Court Award. We did get another grant that we applied for a couple of months ago. We now have won that. So now we need to actually receive the grant of $432,090. So that's always good to keep our drug court operating. And even though there is a county match, we've already met the match through employee salaries. So that's not out of pocket money any more than we would normally have, even if we didn't win the grant. So is there a motion to approve the grant?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas, second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. The road closure, as we heard, several people have concerns about abandoning Beulah Drive. I've heard about the noise complaints also historically, nothing recently, but historically. So what are your thoughts on that? For the record, I can't make a motion or a second, so I'm depending on you guys but we have to discuss it as a team, of course.
I think I propose we table it in order to hear from people that live there in the subdivision.
Yeah, beyond just the 1 or 2 we've already heard from, the rest of them. And maybe we can get some additional details from staff too.
Heard from 2, obviously.
Yeah, there's more. We just heard from 2.
Mr. Ward's client
Right.
and the other lady.
I've had a few calls wanting it closed, but I'm willing to table it and see if they'll show up and.
It's
Say
just
why they want it closed, yeah.
postpone.
Is that what y'all want to do? Give it some more thought and maybe have our staff give us some more recommendations on it too?
Postpone.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins to postpone this agenda item. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Postponed on a 3-0 vote. Our sheriff's office, it says vehicle purchase, but it's actually, we've already purchased the vehicles. This is for the lights and the whole package that goes into the vehicle that comes from GM. So we now have to add that additional equipment, and that was bid out, several different bids, and the low bidder was West Chatham Warning Devices for $179,421 against the 2020 SPLOST. I think it was 17 Durango, 17 SUVs.
Big difference.
Yeah, somebody, there's not that many companies that do it, so one of them was trying to take advantage of us, so I'm glad the sheriff's office got us 2 quotes. Motion by Commissioner Robbins, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. Related to that, we've got maybe more than 17 vehicles here, but these are the ones that we're gradually replacing. Usually, excuse me, if it hits 150,000 miles, there's a few that are less than that have mechanical problems, but that's kind of our rule of thumb. They have to hit at least 150,000 miles on average, but if they have other issues that is more than the value of the vehicle, we'll consider those as well. Is there a motion to declare these surplus and auction them on Gov Deals?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. And similar for our public works, we've been replacing our tractors for our mowing season. It's now in full swing, but these are the older style mowers. Some of them are 20 or 30 years old that we would also like to surplus and put on Gov Deals for these 5 tractors. Oh, no, I see, 2009, sorry. No, that's maybe 10 or 15 years old. Motion by Commissioner Thomas to surplus these 5 mowers. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. We need to purchase a lowboy tractor for Public Works. They've been renting one for quite a while, but especially now with the 2024 SPLOST, the work is going to continue on the culverts and the bridges that we have, and that's typically where they're using this tractor to move around equipment. And so this will avoid the rental payment, and then we will own it and hopefully get a long life out of it. The 2020 SPLOST for $185,051. Any concerns or questions? Motion by Commissioner Robbins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. We've also been renting an excavator for up to $10,000 a month to actually do the work on these cross drains and bridges and things like that. And so this will bring it back in-house as far as the equipment and avoid the rental fee for a little over $270,000.
Make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas to charge it to our 2020 SPLOST. Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. And finally, a trench roller. We're renting that for $2,400 a month, and we have it on the state Sourcewell contract for $47,800 to own it. It's out of Calhoun on the 2020 SPLOST. Motion by Commissioner Robbins. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. We have one item that we added that was mentioned earlier. This is our annual review of our non-discrimination policy. We're required by the federal government to review it and approve it on an annual basis. It's a very short document that was in the backup. Is there a motion to approve the policy update?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 3-0 vote. Okay, we now have our public comments for any item, even if it wasn't on our agenda. We're happy to hear from the public in general. They can't wait to come up. They can't decide who goes first.
Good evening. I'm going to use my notes so that I keep it concise.
Tell us your name and address, please.
I'm Lindsay Carson. I reside at 1495 Hill City Road. I'm a licensed real estate agent. My license is active with Maximum One Community Realtors. I'm attending this meeting because I own 2 properties, one of which is my personal residence, on a stretch of road that is always and immediately impacted by any changes that are made to the traffic patterns and industry on Carbondale. I have a little bit of insight, I think, because of my background in real estate, to how development can affect the community from a residential or commercial side. But I wanted to share a little bit about personally what we're experiencing. I've lived in my residence for 9 years. In the first 2 years, I observed many trucks traveling down our road, even though we have, and it always has been, marked with no through truck signs. I was concerned enough about it because we have young children. We also have elderly neighbors that like to sit on their porch and not get their hair blown back by a semi-truck. I appealed at the state representative level to have some attention paid to the problem, and our state rep at the time, Mr. John Meadows, he actually came out and did a ride-along with our sheriff, and they observed the lack of enforcement concerning the truck traffic that was resulting despite what existing road signage there was. As a result of that observation, they did have better signage placed on both ends of the road, which did dramatically cut down on that traffic. Every day, however, I still am seeing semi-trucks go right past my house, and several times a year, a semi-truck tries to cross the railroad without success. We've had some incidents where, like, I know a flooring truck got stuck and the train blew right through it, and flooring went flying for miles. Additionally, this is just kind of incidentally, but any accidents that occur on the southbound portion of I-75, if you're approaching 326, the exit at South Doug Gap, or 320 at Carbondale, immediately results in hundreds and hundreds of cars going past our house because they get off at Carbondale and they just keep on going, including the semi-trucks. One year at Christmas, we even had someone pull in our driveway during a traffic jam and ask to use our bathroom because they'd been sitting on our road for so long. So I'm assuming that was because they saw the Jesus is the reason for the season sign and they weren't worried about getting shot, but we'll see. All of this traffic it's just a matter of time before a fatality occurs, not like related to the human part. We've lost many pets on this road, which is unfortunate. We have a newly licensed teenage driver, and on some days, the most dangerous part of her drive is actually getting in and out of our driveway. And I warn all of the delivery drivers that stop in our driveway to please do a 3-point turn so that they can drive straight out, because you're taking your life into your hands if you try to back onto that road. So my concern is that any further effort to develop tracts of land on that side of the interstate is just going to inevitably result in more trucks traveling down that road, which is A, you're not supposed to be on, but B, is just dangerous in general to have them. And I really just see the potential negative impacts to life and property. I know that there's a piece of property that's up for rezoning. It may have already passed if I'm following along properly on the agenda, on Carbondale Road, and that particular area is already pretty congested. So I think there's some significant concern for the residential pockets along that stretch of road. And so I wanted to come and spend some time talking about that. Incidentally, I did want to mention, if you're interested in seeing how some of the speculative building has impacted the county to our south, Gordon County took advantage of some speculative hope that with after COVID-19 affected the online shopping industry, there was some question as to whether or not massive warehouse buildings were going to be a good speculative build, because we thought we were going to need all this place to store all of these things. And if you look now, if you travel down 41 between Calhoun and Adairsville, there are massive warehouses sitting empty. And what Gordon County has actually discovered is that they don't have the proper amount or allocation of community resources to even service large quantities of people moving into the county all at one time. Like things like fire and EMT, they'd be stretched past what they can actually accommodate. And so that's just something that I would warn Whitfield County to maybe consider not going down that road, because bringing business in always feels good until we don't actually have what we need to support that business and have it benefit the community. So just to wrap it up, I just wanted to say I feel like Carbondale Road is already a congested area. There's some problematic stretches, and you know, I'm hoping that we can take that overall big picture when anytime a smaller picture incident comes up.
And tell me the name of the road that has the no trucks through again.
It's Hill City Road.
City.
Yeah, if you're familiar with the lay of the land, Carbondale turns into Hill City Road directly. So if a truck gets too far down Carbondale Road, they have nowhere to go except Hill City.
Okay. We certainly don't mind. We don't control enforcement, but I'm happy
Sure.
to pass that along to the sheriff. I
Absolutely.
know he was here earlier, but he's
Yep.
already left, but I'll let him
Absolutely.
know. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for me or anything? Good? Okay. Thanks so much.
Yep, feel free, come up. Just tell us your name and address.
My name is Gregory Ravenwood, 481 Carbondale Road, Southwest. I moved to Georgia about 7 years ago. I retired here and bought some property from the family that was selling it in that area. And it's been a really nice place to live. I really have enjoyed being part of Carbondale's community. It's quiet and it's very pretty to me. I've understood that there was a commercial development or a commercial aspect of the entrance to Carbondale from West 75. And as I saw the interchange change and be redeveloped over the last several years, I'd assumed that there might be some other improvements coming along or more business. And I learned about the park on the northeast quadrant of that interchange for the businesses. And so I've been kind of keeping an eye out on what might be changing, what might be coming, but I'm not really a very integrated member of the community because I'm retired. I don't have to come into town every day and talk to different people. So my knowledge of what's happening is coming to me slowly. I've been working with the voting precincts and meeting some people working for the elections. And that's who informed me of what was coming up this evening with the change to the Carpet Industry Clearinghouse property. They let me know that this was happening, and although it's not close enough to my property for me to actually experience what they'll be experiencing, as it's right across the street from their homes. It just struck me that it was less desirable outcome than I would have hoped for our community. That there's so much empty space, it seems, above Carbondale for manufacturing businesses, and that to plop that into a place where people have built their family homes and there's a church and a cemetery there, that's going to now have perhaps a manufacturing building right next to it. It just struck me as something that I had hoped would not pass. I understand that you voted on it this evening, and it probably will come to be in the future at some point. But that's only for the Carpet Industry Clearinghouse property, as I understand it. When I was able to look at the zoning for the future of that property, it seems that there's a triangular space indicated for rezoning from Carbondale Interchange down to about Red Wine Cove. That is on the west side of I-75. And I would ask if it's possible to reconsider the zoning for the rest of that property, to leave it commercial and residential only, rather than allowing for more manufacturing to continue to be added to that part of our community and disrupt the living space that we've begun to, we have for so many years, for so many people, developed and tried to make a nicer part of our lives. So that was what I wanted to ask about tonight. Is there an opportunity to revisit the zoning on that section of land, the Carbondale community?
I think that might be a separate parcel, and you have to have a rezoning request for each parcel that you want to rezone. I don't know which one you're talking about specifically, but that sounds like a different one.
Look at that.
Future development plan.
Oh,
What
future
he's
development.
indicating
Yeah.
up there, this right here.
Yeah, that can be changed. That's just a strategic plan. It was approved last fall, but it was approved for the whole county, not specifically.
Well, no, I mean, that's,
Triangular space that I was talking about where people are actually living
I see.
now. And this is the spot where was it Dixie Bricks?
Yeah,
has
yeah.
purchased this property and will be constructing something there.
Right.
For another vendor at this point. But I was just wondering, could this other property be taken out of?
Well, if there's houses there, they're already zoned as residential. So that overlay is like just a guideline when you are doing re-requests. But yeah, we can't force you to rezone, individually. You'd have to ask us to rezone your property or your neighbor's property or whatever. They'd have to come to us one by one to rezone.
Gotcha.
So it's not like, that's not going to be forced on anybody. That's just a guideline only. But it's totally up to the property owner what they want to do, just
had
like the property owner that we rezoned tonight.
Some property owners in that area that is in the purple had commented that they were told that their property was going to be, or they were going to be encouraged to sell their property to developers by other people who were involved in this Dixie Bricks.
No, that wouldn't be coming from us, I can tell
That's
you
all,
that.
that's all we know.
Yeah, we don't do that kind
Already
of thing.
zoned residential, what he showed you?
Yeah, those are homes he already showed us.
Oh.
Yeah, they're already zoned residential if they have a
That
house on
wouldn't
them.
be changed.
Yeah, they wouldn't be changed unless the owner wants them changed of each individual home,
That's right.
so. And you can't put a plant on a small home, so I think you'll be okay unless all of y'all agree to it. You'd be safe. You'd be safe.
she and he were very, very eloquent about it, so once I was panicking about trying to get everything written out. Elizabeth Pulliam, 280 Carbondale Road. I'm actually directly across, as are some other members here, from the Dixie Bricks location. And in speaking with Carpet Clearinghouse, which I found out, they've had probably months, or if not years, to get all their little plan together. And I'm just like trying to comprise everything in at least 30 days. But then after the planning meeting, oh, great, here's more, because I don't have all the pieces of the puzzle. And so I'm finding little pieces here and there. And some of this stuff was actually passed through from people that got it from people at the county when they were saying about, oh, the entire south side is going to become industrial manufacturing. That's what they're wanting to do, and move all the residential up north. And we're just like, we're generational down there. My family's been there. Next year will be 100 years that we've been in that area. And that house since 1935 that I live in right now.
Yeah, nobody's gonna make you sell your
Okay,
house but yourself.
but here's the aspect of it is what's going on across from there with them wanting to rezone for heavy manufacturing. Right now, we were actually told at the planning meeting, they don't know what they're wanting to put in there. They don't know what tenants they may get. So let's get this rezoning done so we have a wider array of who's gonna go in there. Or who we could potentially get as tenants to go in there. That, looking future-wise, we don't know what we're gonna be getting if you give them this for heavy manufacturing. It's already zoned for commercial. We were approached outside that planning meeting by a representative of Dixie Bricks, and she said, we will build a warehouse with the current zoning that it is right now. We don't have to have it. If that's the case, why not just build your warehouse and leave it zoned as commercial? And not put in the potential for heavy manufacturing that could bring in all of the pollutions and so forth. And without knowing what's going in there, EPD cannot give us any indications as to what may go on to affecting Stover Creek, the various spring systems that we have under there. I still have an old drawing well on my back porch. Swamp Creek. Then, of course, there's the cemetery property there. That's gonna be right up adjacent to it. And knowing my grandfather as far as how he loved the property and the land, he's laying right next to what they're gonna put in there. That's not gonna sit well. I mean, I'm sorry I'm getting emotional about that. But, I just don't want it to change from what the rural area is that it is. With bringing in more manufacturing that we've got, at least the industrial park, that's fine. We don't see it, we don't have to look at it. There's enough up South Doug Gap still. I feel sorry for the few people that are still there, residential. South Bypass as well. And it's already zoned for heavy manufacturing. So that's the main thing. If they want their warehouse and commercial, do it. Stick it back in the woods. We'll continue to look at Cinch, which at least it looks decent. So, and they don't make any noise or anything. And that's basically all I can say. And just, if I may add with your prayer, that God open your heart to leave his creation alone.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Going once, going twice?
Me.
Okay.
I live off of Carbondale on Railroad Cove at the railroad.
What's your name, please? Your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, Lisa Stone.
Okay.
Where I live, right there at the railroad, Terry's family's been there, I don't know how long. The house his daddy built. His brother lives behind us. My cousin and my mama lives across the railroad from me. Ever since they put in, well, ever since they started building more plants at Connector 3 and the engineered floor plant is now just a block down, basically, from us. And all that on, Old Dixie, all them new buildings and stuff, the traffic coming from south of us, they don't stop at stop signs, they don't stop at the roundabout, they don't yield to nothing, they come off the interstate, don't even stop. And they come down the side road there, Cove Road, about doing 60 to jump the railroad to get out the end of the road to beat everybody at the red light. We don't need no more traffic, no more pollution, no more traffic, no more garbage. They sit on the sides of the roads and throw out their garbage and everything else. And I don't know why these people think they should have the right to put something in and not tell us what it's gonna be or how it's gonna impact us. Because, like she said, it's a community. I was raised there. My pawpaw bought there in the 60s. And we just don't want it. We got enough. We got enough around us. Okay?
Yep, thank
All
you.
right.
And I hate to say, if I've composed myself well enough now, I'm so sorry. May I add one more statement in regards to the traffic, because I just found that out today.
Okay.
As well. I'm sorry. Do I need to restate myself?
No.
Okay. I had, in contacting Cinch as well, with mentioning of the traffic in the trucks, there's no plan on changing the entrance location, which will be for anything heavy manufacturing going in. And they're actually going to share that same entrance. The gentleman who happens to live in the Horseshoe did not come today, but it is right next to his driveway. They can't expand it any further. Opening it is what the gentleman at Cinch said, because that is the road that they currently use. So when it goes the entrance will still be the same. And once it gets so far up, it'll split off. One will go to the backside of Cinch, one will go over to the warehouse or whatever else, and that's all they know of that's going in there themselves, is a warehouse. We have just currently this year, and I'm not there on a regular basis, so when I'm actually at my home, I've witnessed 7 trucks jackknife trying to get out of that driveway and actually blocking Carbondale Road. One gentleman, unfortunately, had to have 2 other drivers get him repositioned and then waited until everybody went by, tried it again, and blocked it again, and had to have another Shaw driver get him backed out, and then he actually pulled and went west on Carbondale and turned around somewhere down there to then be able to go up, because he could not make that turn. Now, I know in the future development plans that I see, there is a perspective out there to widen Carbondale Road from a 2-lane to a 4-lane. And once again, we've got the graveyard situation. 5 graves on this side that aren't part of, and that was the point where they couldn't work on the exchange, and they were actually going to go through and cut through all of my family's properties and actually taking homes as well. How is that going to work as far as, because I'm sure that widening of the road, because it's only going to go down to Red Wine Cove, that is mainly for truck transportation, either into that area or over to engineered flooring. So now, is that something we're going to have to come back and beg on bended knee not to have done as well?
It takes years to design those type
Right.
of roads, that the design hasn't
So
started, to
that's
my
what I'm
knowledge.
saying, though,
But yeah,
during
I know
that
what you're saying.
duration, if this is for heavy manufacturing and they do put all that in, what in the world are we gonna have happen there? Because there's already a very sharp curve that sometimes you have to cross your fingers that a truck that's flying around there that will actually be on the other side of the road, because they do not go the speed limit of 35 down through there. There's no, I mean,
Yep.
it's just a given. And I live right around there, as do several people on that hillside. And if they're coming around there and somebody is jackknifed out of that driveway, it's gonna be instant death, because they do not go 35 through there. And they are gonna run headfirst into any truck that's there. And if they come around and even successfully come out of that driveway, they're still gonna be over on the westbound side to make that sharp of a turn. You know, if you wanna do the warehouse, fine, but please be in consideration of what in the world is actually gonna happen there. It may, like they said, in Gordon County, just be an empty building. That would actually suit us fine. So, once again, thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's also.
A little bit over on your time, but, but if you got something to say, go ahead.
Well, no, she's wanting to say as far as with, the police and medical as well would be affected in trying to get through there as well.
Oh,
You know,
oh,
with
ambulance service, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, right,
And
exactly.
so,
And fire, yeah, exactly.
all right, thank you.
Any other public comment? All right, we have an executive session. We won't have any other action. We won't have any other business. We'll just adjourn when we come out of that. So you're welcome to stay, but there won't be anything else happening other than us adjourning. Is there a motion to go into executive session? Personnel matters. Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robbins. All in favor? Passes on a 3-0 vote.